The United States is said to have over 8,000 tons of gold, mostly stored in Fort Knox, the US Mint, and the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. But here is the catch: no one has seen this gold in decades. Is it still there? Has it been sold off or secretly moved? Let's dive into the history, speculation, and pressing questions surrounding America's gold reserves. If you find these deep dives into financial mysteries interesting, don't forget to like and share this video. It really helps the channel grow.
We're also going to Fort Knox. I'm going to go with Elon. And would anybody like to join us? Because we want to see if the gold is still there. We want to see. Wouldn't that be terrible? We open up this Fort Knox. It's just solid granite that's 5 feet thick. The front door, you need 6 musclemen to open it up. I don't even think they have windows. Wouldn't that be terrible if we opened it up and there was no gold there? So we're going to open those doors. We're going to take a look. And if there's 27 tons of gold, we'll be very happy. I don't know how the hell we're going to measure it, but that's okay. We want to see lots of nice, beautiful, shiny gold in Fort Knox. Don't be totally surprised. We open the door, we'll say, there's nothing here. They stole this too. Now, we have a very corrupt group of people in this country, and we're finding them out.
It all started during the Great Depression. In 1933, President Franklin Roosevelt ended the gold standard for American citizens and issued Executive Order 6102. This forced Americans to turn in their gold coins and bullion in exchange for paper money. The result? A massive boost to the US Treasury's gold reserves. With all this gold coming in, the government needed a secure place to store it. Enter Fort Knox, built in 1936 in Kentucky. By 1937, it was packed with gold, some of it confiscated from American citizens. The US even held gold from other countries looking for a safe place to store their reserves, especially as tensions rose before World War II. After World War II, the US dollar became the backbone of the global economy under the Bretton Woods Agreement. Gold was pegged at $35 per ounce, and the US held about 23% of the world's gold reserves. This gave the dollar incredible stability and power. But by 1950s and 1960s, the crack started to show. The US ran trade deficits, spent massively abroad, and other countries began exchanging their dollars for gold. Their reserves started dwindling fast. Then came the shocker. In 1971, President Richard Nixon ended the gold standard, stopping the conversion of dollars into gold. The Bretton Woods system collapsed, and the world moved to fiat currency. Despite this, the US decided to keep its remaining gold. What do you think about the decision to abandon the gold standard? Should the US have held on to it? Drop a comment below and let's discuss. Here is something interesting. The Federal Reserve doesn't actually own America's gold. It belongs to the US Treasury. The Fed holds a gold certificate valued at about $11 billion, but at a fixed rate of $42.22 per ounce. That rate hasn't changed since the 1970s, even though gold today is worth much more. Gold is more than just metal. It's financial insurance. It protects against currency risk and economic instability. If the US revalued its gold at today's market prices, it could significantly reduce the national debt. But for some reason, this hasn't happened. Now, here is where things get really interesting. Fort Knox is one of the most secure places on Earth, yet it hasn't been publicly audited in decades. While officials insist the gold is there, many ain't convinced. Could some of it have been quietly sold or lent out? Rumors have been swirling for years. Some claim that gold was secretly removed during the Johnson administration. Others suggest that the vaults might contain counterfeit bars. The last major audit was 1953, and even that was limited in scope. To silence doubters, the US Treasury staged the media event in 1974, letting journalists and officials take a peek inside Fort Knox, but it was far from a real audit. Bars weren't weighed and serial numbers weren't checked. Was it just a show? The 2008 financial crash reignited calls for transparency. Some believe gold reserves might have been used to stabilize markets behind closed doors. If so, where's the proof? In 2017, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin visited Fort Knox and tweeted that the gold was safe, but again no real audit took place and skeptics weren't convinced. Recently, thousands of gold bars have been moved between London and New York. Big banks like JP Morgan and HSBC engage in arbitrage, moving gold to exploit price differences. While this isn't proof of a conspiracy, it does add to the secrecy surrounding gold transactions. With all this secrecy, some have suggested a modern audit live-streamed for the public. Even Elon Musk has weighed in, calling for full transparency. Imagine a real-time tour of Fort Knox's gold vaults. Wouldn't that be something? If an audit revealed the gold is missing, the consequences would be catastrophic. Confidence in the dollar would plummet, inflation could spiral, and global markets would panic. On the other hand, a verified audit could strengthen trust in US financial stability. While officials insist the gold is intact, the lack of a full transparent audit keeps the mystery alive. The question remains, why not prove it once and for all? Until then, speculation will continue and the calls for clarity will only get louder. So what do you think? Is the US gold reserve really there, or is something being hidden from the public? Drop a comment below with your thoughts. And if you've made it this far, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into the world's financial mysteries. Thanks for watching.